The, the,
How the campaign's going?
the campaign's going great. I mean, we're excited about it. There's a tremendous amount of energy and momentum on the ground. Wherever we go, it's great to hear from people who are excited about our message, and that message of making sure that we're putting this place, this state, this country into a new direction.
I was going to ask what you want people to know about you at this point. You got a few remaining weeks here before the election.
You know, I think I'm a Eastern Plains kid from a small town, a family business, sold farm equipment, grew up with a great family around us, and live in the same town that I went to high school in. Our daughter goes to the same high school that her dad or granddad and her great-granddad went to. But I believe that their future, our kids' future, is at risk if we don't do something different in this country. I've always felt optimistic about the future of this nation, and will continue to. But it takes work to make sure that we can point it in that direction.
Why the jump from House to Senate?
A year ago, when my wife and I had talked about whether or not we should run for the Senate, we had decided not to. In fact, we thought we have a safe Republican House seat, we'll stay in it, we have more work to do and more legislation to pursue. But it's not about staying in a safe House seat. It's not about sending out fancy press releases about legislation that will never pass because Harry Reid will never bring it up in the Senate. It's truly about making a difference for this country. And the way we can make a difference is to defeat Mark Udall and make sure that somebody is in the Senate for Colorado that has an independent voice, somebody who's not simply going to be a rubber stamp for the failed policies of this administration.
Can you do that? Can you go into the Senate, do you think? I mean, you make no apologies for your conservative viewpoints. Can you go in and make a difference?
Absolutely we can. One senator can make a tremendous amount of difference. And over the past 6 years, we've seen that Mark Udall is not willing to be that one senator.
And it is a divided Congress right now. And there are a lot of people that have strong opinions about not liking Congress at this point.
Well, I think, look, the Congress has to do the work that the people of this country expect it to. And when that happens, they will, again, approve of it. We need a government that people can be proud of. We need, and to do that, we have to have solutions. We have to put solutions into place. We have to solve problems. And right now, that's simply not happening. We've passed over 300 bills out of the House of Representatives into the Senate, many with strong bipartisan support. Bills that would lower taxes, reform and restrain runaway regulation, bills that would create jobs and opportunity. And yet Harry Reid and his allies aren't bringing them up, not even for a vote.
So if you're elected, then how will you work to make sure that that's different?
Yeah, absolutely. Number one, we're going to take the ideas, whoever ideas they are, and make sure that they're good ideas, that we're working on them, that we're voting on these ideas. Harry Reid has decided he's not even going to vote on legislation because he wants to protect his members. We have to work with whoever they are, from wherever they are, on ideas that will actually grow our economy, get people back to work. Those are the things that are important to protect and preserve the security of our country's social safety nets, to make sure that we're protecting the security of our families. Those are things that we must act on.
Talk about your what you would do if elected a little bit more, and what the most important issues are that are facing maybe Southern Colorado voters.
Well, absolutely. I mean, if you look at Colorado Springs, I think it's something like from the year 2000 to the year 2013, a net of maybe 3,000 or 4,000 jobs were created over that time. Unemployment in El Paso County is unacceptably high. If you look at Pueblo, even further to the south, unemployment at the beginning of the year was almost 7%. Median household income in the far southern part of Colorado is half of what it is around the rest of the state. That's unacceptable. We have to have leaders in Washington who aren't simply there to fill a seat, but who are there to lead, who are there to provide ideas, who are there to do something to help people better their lives. People around Colorado, people in El Paso County, people in Pueblo County are working harder than they ever have, only to find opportunities slip further from their reach because this president and people like Mark Udall, who voted with him time and time again, aren't up to the challenge of making this country a better place.
So jobs, what else?
Jobs is a huge part of it, energy opportunity. Actually, over the past several months, we've developed a Four Corners plan that I talk about throughout Colorado. It's a plan of growing our economy that's through common sense tax reform, regulatory reform, getting government out of the way, letting America work. Look, this nation would be a much better place, places like Colorado, if we had more Colorado in Washington and less Washington in Colorado. What we can do for energy independence. You know, we have over 100,000 jobs in Colorado that are being created because of energy opportunities. That's adding billions of dollars to our revenues in terms of building new schools and roads, creating jobs across the state, waitresses, engineers, realtors, all because of this incredible opportunity. What we can do for the future of education in this country, whether it's strengthening the United States Air Force Academy, whether it's making sure that the other higher education institutes, community colleges and Colorado Springs and El Paso County are able to help make college affordable. Those are the things that we can work on together. I've introduced bills to help provide flexibility in education savings accounts to allow students to deduct more interest off of their taxes from their student loans. And then what we can do to protect this incredible environment that keeps us and brought many of us to Colorado in the first place. And that means we keep the federal government's hands off of our water. We're good stewards of our forest lands, making sure that we're responsible when it comes to wildfire mitigation, rehabilitation. And that's something that I've actually taken great pride in working with El Paso County commissioners and city council members over the past year, is making sure that we have the resources in El Paso County needed to come back from the devastating fires and floods.
Mm-hmm. Jobs, energy, environment, these are things that Senator Udall talks about as well. So what separates you from your opponent?
Well, I think it's very clear what Senator Udall has run his campaign on this year. It's been a one-issue campaign. He's a social issues warrior. We've focused on the economy. When it comes to the economy for Senator Udall, he talks about it in terms of raising taxes. He wants to put in place a carbon tax. Under his energy plan, Colorado families could face $1,700 a year higher in terms of utility costs. That's simply unacceptable when people are struggling to make ends meet as it is.
That's something I want to ask you about too. You mentioned a social issue, and Senator Udall has said that you've sort of built your career on efforts to limit women's choices. And I want to know if the legislation that you're sponsoring or supporting at the federal level, what is that truly meant to do? Is it to limit women's choices?
Well, I don't support the personhood amendment. As Senator Udall has said, that's simply a statement that I support life. But it's funny because when we were at a debate in Pueblo just a couple of days ago, Senator Udall refused to answer the question of whether or not he supports over-the-counter contraceptions, as I do.
So what is the point then of what you want to support at the federal level? You're not in support of the state, right?
Well, that's just a bill, simply a bill that I support life. And what Senator Udall is trying to do is make sure that he doesn't have to answer for his failed policies.
I was going to ask, you've also brought up about his voting record with President Obama. Do you think that's a fair, when it's the same party?
Can I interrupt to cough real
Sure,
quick? Excuse me. Sorry about that.
No, go ahead.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Voting record.
Yeah.
That's something that you've brought up in the past with President Obama.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Senator Udall's voting record, it's been a deciding vote on the health care bill. He's voted for higher taxes. He's supported people to be appointed to the Department of Interior who said that the greatest threat to the western United States is natural gas development. The kind of votes that he has taken have put Coloradans in reverse.
I want to revisit what we talked about a second ago because I want to ask one more question about that. What exactly do you want to accomplish with that bill, that personhood bill, not personhood bill, but the bill on the federal level?
Well, again, that's a statement that I support life, but what I hope that we accomplish in this race is to make sure that people understand Mark Udall's focus on a single-issue campaign is something that I believe shouldn't be accepted by the people of Colorado. What we can do to make sure that we talk about those issues that I hear at town meetings.
Is there a lot of pressure with the national attention on this race? There is quite a bit of it, and this is one that they say could be critical.
Yeah. Well, it is critical. I mean, this is a race that could determine the balance of the United States Senate, but more importantly, this is the race that allows Coloradans to determine whether or not we're going to be on the leading edge of a movement, to the leading edge of a decision to really change things around. Over the past several years, median household income in Colorado has declined by over $4,000 a family. That's unacceptable. We don't have to settle for declining incomes. We don't have to settle for an economy that hovers around 6–7% unemployment. We can do better than that. But the problem is, under Mark Udall's leadership, that's exactly what we've gotten. And that's exactly what we'll get more of if he were to be reelected.
What else do you want people to know about you in these final weeks?
You know what? I'm going to be a fighter, somebody who never forgets the four corners of Colorado. North, south, east, and west, no matter where they live, how big or small their town is, I will be a tireless advocate, a passionate representative of their issues to make sure that we are putting Coloradans first. And I don't think you get that when somebody's been in Washington for 16 years and has failed to lead.